Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Wellness Weekends. Today I'm going to be doing something that is really relaxing for me, and I'll be making a white bread just from scratch. And it's real simple. It just has a handful of ingredients and a few steps, and not only does the bread turn out really good, but it makes the whole house smell good too, which is part of my wellness. It's just something that I love to do, so let's get started. Hello there, I'm Tim.
And I'm Lil, and we believe that everyone deserves to have a wellness weekend.
So whether we're traveling afar or staying close to home, our goal is to find the beauty and the fun that's all around us, no matter where we are.
So come along with us and let's discover it together.
All right, here we go. Let's start out by putting 500 grams of flour into a mixing bowl. I like to do 250 grams of all-purpose flour and 250 grams of bread flour. And the bread flour just helps strengthen the gluten. After that, we're going to add 10 grams of salt to one side of the bowl. And then we'll add some fast-acting yeast to the other side of the bowl, making sure that it doesn't touch the salt. The salt will kill the yeast. You don't want that. All right, now that we've got it over at the mixer, we'll start adding the liquids. I start with the olive oil, which today I'm going to be using, actually for the first time, some fresh garlic olive oil. So it's a garlic infused olive oil that it's really good. I've had it in other things, but I haven't tried it with bread yet. So I say add a good splash of it. It's usually about a tablespoon and a half. And then I will put that on one side. Like that. And then you're going to want to add some water. All right, so for the water, I use about 12 ounces of just room temperature water, and you want to start out by putting about 3/4 of it into the bowl. You want to leave a little bit out because we're gonna test to see how wet this flour is, and then we'll add water if we need to. So after we add that in, we'll put our dough hook onto the mixer. If you don't have a dough hook or a mixer, you can do this by hand, but it's hard work, so I don't do it. So here we go. We're just going to put this in here, turn this on low. We're going to let that mix for a little bit. I like to use just room temperature water because if you use a warmer water, yes, it will rise faster, but the flavors won't be as intense. A slower rise equals more flavor. I brought the light over here so you can see it just a little bit better. But you can see it's pretty dry, so we're going to add a little water. And you really just want to keep adding water until it gets to a consistency where it's not real wet, but it's not, flaking off like this. Yes, we add a little water. Now it's starting to get wet, a little bit wetter. And it's actually starting to look pretty good. I can really smell that garlic, and that garlic olive oil smells really good. This is going to be a good bread. All right, now I think we're ready to take it out of the bowl and start kneading it. All right, so it's time to start kneading the bread. We're going to knead it by hand for about 7 minutes, just to get all the glutens ready to go here before we bake it. So we'll just put this little bit of flour onto the surface, and we'll grab the bread. Okay, so we'll start kneading it by hand, and the best way to do that is just to kind of press and fold back. So you can just use one hand, press down like this, and then use your fingers to roll it back. And you fold it back like that, and you just keep kneading the bread for about 7 minutes, and that should do it. All right, now that we're done kneading the bread, we're just gonna form this into a ball. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, just a nice ball of dough. This one feels really good. So, and then we're gonna grab a bowl and put a little olive oil in the bottom of the bowl, and then let this rise for about 60 to 90 minutes. All right, so what you want to do is just put a little dab of olive oil at the bottom of the bowl. Just about like that, doesn't take much. We just want to coat the bowl and the sides of the bowl with some olive oil so it doesn't stick. So just take a paper towel, and you can just go in and spread the olive oil around the sides of the bowl. And then we'll place the ball of dough right in the center of the bowl. Just like that. Then we'll cover it with some Saran wrap. Cover the bowl. Make sure it's completely covered. We want to pull it tight. So we want this to rise well, so. All right, so there you go. Now we wait. Like I said, it's about 60 to 90 minutes, or until it doubles in size. Sometimes it depends on the weather, and I know right now in our house it's about 70 degrees. So if it's a little cooler, it'll take longer, and then if it's warmer, it won't take as long. But I just keep an eye on it. So let's do that. All right, so the dough's been rising for about an hour and 15 minutes. It took a little longer than an hour just because it's 70 degrees in here. It is winter time, so it took a little bit longer. But it rose pretty good, as you can see here. See, it at least doubled in size, which is good. And now what we're gonna wanna do with this is punch it down. We're gonna take a little bit of flour on the surface, and then we're gonna turn the dough out onto the counter, and we're gonna use our knuckles basically. Coat the bread so nothing sticks. And we use our knuckles and basically just fold it and punch this down, punch all the air out of it. And what this is gonna do is allow it to do a second proofing, which is where the flavor comes in. That's what I've been told anyway. And it does work. So you just wanna knock it down a little bit with your knuckles, get that air out of there. And then what we're gonna do is, because we wanna plait this bread, we're gonna do a 5-strand plait. So we're gonna divide this up into 5 equal pieces after this. Basically how I do that is I just weigh the whole ball. So I'll just put it on the scale, We've got a total of 826 grams. So then I'll ask Siri or Alexa or whoever you have to do the math for you. So Echo, what is 826 divided by 5?
826 divided by 5 is 165.2.
See, there we go. So 165. So at this point, we're ready to start rolling out our strands. We have 5 equal pieces of dough. I'll put a little more flour on, on the counter. And for this, I like to start just with my hands and just, just make it just kind of roll it out. And I roll it out to about probably 18 inches or so. Although this dough is real springy, so we'll see if I can get it to that point. The next part is to put them together. So how I find is easy to do is just to punch them all down to the counter together. You may not be able to see that very well. Move it this way. So you go 1, 2, 3. Here's 4, and this one's kind of a funky looking one, so hopefully it's okay. There's 5. Okay, so you have the 5 strands, okay? So you want to put 3 together on one side and 2 together on the other. This is a 5-strand plait, okay? So you want to take, on the 3 side, take the outside strand and bring it over to the inside of the 2-strand side this way. All right? And then you want to do the same thing on the other side. So you bring this one over. No. Yeah. So bring this one over to this side. And you just keep working that way. And it makes a nice 5-strand plait. Mine are never perfect, but it does still taste really good. And then at the end, what I like to do is just kind of fold the end in. Maybe take off a little bit of the edge. Make sure this part's folded in. And I just kind of shape it a little bit. Make sure they're all folded in there. Just like that. So then after you've plaited it, the next thing you want to do is get your peel. It's like this board right here that you can put in the oven. And you're going to want to place it on here. But first, what we want to do is use some parchment paper. This just makes it so it's easier to handle when you're taking it in and out of the oven. So we'll take the bread or the dough and we'll put it on top of the peel, on top of the baking parchment. Okay, now at this point, we're gonna let it do a second proof. So, and this second proof will probably be about 30 to 45 minutes, probably more on the side of 45. And it'll, again, grow from this size until almost double the size. And then after that, we will get ready to bake it. And one thing I did forget to mention is while this is doing the second rise or second proof, you want to turn on your oven to 400 so that it is totally hot, completely hot before you put the bread in. So you want to turn it on while this is doing its second proof. And this is what it should look like when the dough is plaited. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Once it bakes, it looks really, really nice. So go ahead and set your oven to 400 degrees, turn it on, and let it get completely hot while the dough is rising for the second time. One thing I forgot to mention is, so the dough doesn't dry out, go ahead and cover it with a plastic bag. Just make sure the bag doesn't touch the top of the dough. And next on the agenda is an egg wash. This is going to give your bread that nice shiny golden brown color after it's baked. I highly recommend getting one of these probe thermometers. They really help out. So even though the bread typically takes 25 minutes, it depends on your oven. Some ovens are hotter than others. Mine is a little bit quicker, so it's been about 21 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and check it. Once the temperature reaches about 190, 195, I know it's done, then I can pull it out. So I'm gonna check it right now. All right, so let's give this a look here. And the bread looks really good. Let's check the inside temperature, right in the middle. And we're at about, 193, 194. So we're ready. That is done. So I will pull this out. It's always a good idea to put your bread on a cooling rack once it's done so that it can cool from the bottom as well as the top. And if you want to check, one of the ways that people check to see if it's done is they'll actually tap on the bottom, and if it sounds hollow, which this does, typically it's done. But I like to go by temperature more than that, more than the tap test, because it's a little more accurate. Anyway, pretty soon we will eat it. All right, it's just that easy. And this is the finished product right there. You can see how the plats look really nice. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. It's really, really, really good. It's a great recipe. So now what we're gonna do is make dinner and have our bread. I cannot think of a better way to enjoy this bread that was so easy to make than to sit around the table with family with some great food and great wine and just enjoy each other's company. So until next time, thanks for watching and be well.
Hey!
Cheers. Okay, now we can eat.
Yeah, now you-